Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living here in Bellingham, where we're all about awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. I'm Kalish Liviel, the practitioner of the day, and filling in for Dr. Andrea for part because she's off on vacation, having a much-deserved vacation. And once again, we have a group of people that came to the center. It's so wonderful to have you all here and to be with you and share some gratitudes for this morning. I guess the first one is my gratitude for my sense of humor. It saves me in so many ways. And like, what do they say? Too many cooks spoil the broth. Too many people telling me what time to start speaking, then I lose track of which is real. But I'm so grateful you're all here. So grateful for the band to be right here, live and in person. And so, in fact, I'll turn it over to the band right now.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone, for those of you here. And, of course, we've got folks tuned in. If you want to stand up and let's sing into this day together. Anything is possible when you believe. You know anything is possible when you believe. You can make a mountain move when you believe. You know you can make a mountain move when you believe. Don't you know that you can change your life when you believe? Don't you know that you can change your life when you believe in yourself? In yourself, when you believe in yourself, when you believe in yourself, when you believe in yourself, when you believe, oh, we're gonna make a miracle when you believe. You know we're gonna make a miracle when you believe. Everything you want, you got when you believe. You know everything you want, you got when you believe in yourself. In yourself, when you believe in yourself, when you believe in yourself, when you believe in yourself, when you believe. All right, let's break it down a little. I believe in me. Look around to someone next to you. And I believe in you. We believe in each other. There ain't nothing we can do. Nah, 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 nah. I said I believe in me. And I believe in you. We believe in each other. There ain't nothing we can do. Oh, anything is possible when you believe. You know anything is possible when you believe in yourself. In yourself, when you believe in yourself, when you believe in yourself, when you believe in yourself. Yeah. Yes. Oh, it feels good to be back here in the sanctuary. Welcome to everybody. And take a... Thank you. All right, well, let's go ahead and sing My Soul is Welcome Here. I don't know why some of you sat down. If you want to stand up, keep dancing, that's all nice. Clapping is also welcome. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome here.
Boy, you've been missing that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Such gratitude. Coming together in this moment, breathing in, remembering to breathe out, allowing ourselves to get present here in this moment, knowing that this moment is truly all there is. Every moment leading up to it and every moment leading from it reminds us that this is the moment now, where we are present and able to hear and feel the wonderful words, the wonderful music, the wonder of spirit, knowing that it's all good. Thank you, sweet spirit. And so it is.
And so it is.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. Let's sing that again. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. my family. You are the face of love, the face of love. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of love. You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. May I never lose my wonder. 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 Let this be a prayer together. Sing with me. May I never lose my wonder. 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 Wide-eyed and mystified, may I be just like a child, staring at the beauty of the world. May I never lose my wonder. 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 Wide-eyed and mystified, may I be just like a child, staring at the beauty of the world. Wide-eyed and mystified. Wide-eyed and mystified, may I be just like a child, staring at the beauty of the world. Wide-eyed and mystified. Wide-eyed and mystified, may I be just like a child, staring at the beauty of the world. May I never lose my wonder. May I never lose my wonder. May I never lose my wonder. May I never lose my wonder.
Wonder. So I have the distinct pleasure and honor to introduce Zina Kacha to you. She is our guest speaker today. She's a ministerial student and graduating the end of this year, I think it is. And long ago and far away, or maybe just 6 months ago or so, she and her wife Patty were called to Bellingham before we actually knew her, or before I met her, let's put it that way. And so I want to take this opportunity to also share with you that they've been together 24 years. In 2 weeks, not till 2 weeks though. So now I get to invite you to speak.
Thank you, Kalish. Oh, wow, it's just so wonderful to be here. I'm filled with wonder. And when Amber, thank you so much, and the band for the song, because when she was singing it, you were bringing up your little granddaughter. Yeah, and it just really enlivened me to this idea about keeping that innocence, that youthfulness, that aliveness that the world has a habit of trying to beat it right out of us, doesn't it? Yeah. So I'm glad that I wasn't invited here for a dance performance, because obviously you guys saw that probably wouldn't have gone off real well. So thank goodness that the spirit that runs the world that I know, which is the whole entire invisible universe, decided to give me its word through my mouth. And my life is completely dedicated to that. So I'm super happy to be here with you. And thank you so much. Truly, truly. So Patty and I have been in Bellingham for all of July, and already 2 weeks of that have gone by, and it's fascinating, enchanting, and beautiful. There's a real vulnerability in the life that I see here, a realness that maybe nature, but definitely the people, and maybe the combination of all of the elements just brings together this real feeling of belonging. And I can imagine many of you have that feeling or were inspired by that feeling and made your way to Bellingham. So we're happy to be joining you in the next few months. So I often ask myself, what is mine to say? I feel a little teary today for some reason, and I think it's because there's just been a lot happening, right? In this thing called the physical universe, the conditioned world that we have to navigate in, right? We're both, what I love about the science of mind is we're both spiritual, and we are both spiritual and in the physical realm. And so we don't talk about a transcendence, like we're not going anywhere and transcending anything. We're learning different ways to live in this thing called the world. And we have a strong inner knowing that this world has the ability to transform as we transform ourselves, and we attract others who are transforming, and we come to a realization that there really is a divine presence that is moving always, whether we see it or not. And oftentimes it's practice to be able to see it, isn't it? Yeah. So the talk that I have for us today is living by default or living by design. And I want to start out just by kind of framing what I'd like to talk about today. It's really on my mind. It has a lot to do with these paradigms that we see. Their paradigms are constructs. They're the way that the worldview, through habits, attitudes, beliefs, and kind of collective consciousness begin to form. And so you have sort of this global idea of a paradigm, these shared attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors. Then you have sort of familial, right? In our families, we have certain, like, this is our family and this is what we do. And then you have the individual, and we have our own paradigms that can be influenced by outside sources, there's no doubt. But they really are the only place and the only sphere where we have the ability to do what science of mind tells us, change your thinking, change your life. I know it's like a jargon in a lot of ways, but the truth of it is that by doing that, we're able to begin to open up to something greater than the physical universe in which we live. So when I think about that, I also think about the systemic things, and we see a lot of that erupting in society. I mean, I'd like to hide under a rock, but we kind of got to look at it and say, okay, things are shifting. And I like to look at it, okay, things are shifting, but what's emerging? What's coming out of this? And look at nature. It's it's our best teacher on. There's a destructive kind of element, and it's not really destructive. It's evolution, and so it's sort of things are growing, and then they sort of diminish and pass away. But everything that has ever lived continues to grow and give. And so there's something wonderful emerging when we stop and listen for a moment to tap into a higher idea of what life truly is. And so when I look at this, I'm thinking about three elements that I'd like to bring into the mix today. One is the default, which I've sort of put in my title. The other is recruitment, and the other one is release. So as we're moving through this idea of default, we have to begin to ask ourselves, I know I have been asking this question a lot, so I hope that it resonates with your being to think of things as rewiring the patterns of thinking. How do we rewire our patterns of thinking? They're those kind of things that buy into the status quo of how I'm supposed to live because I'm a woman. I'm a woman in a same-sex relationship. I'm a member of the universe. We're entrepreneurs, Patty and I. We've been in business a long time. And so it's all these things that I've kind of made up in my mind about how I'm supposed to look to the outside world. And it's all based on a thought process that one goes through. And we kind of get into default living when we just kind of think that there's nothing new and nothing magnificently original, or spirit isn't surprising its creation anymore. But we're always being surprised if we are able to stop and look for a moment. So this idea of the paradigm and the shift came to me through a class that I took with he's a famous neuroscientist. His name is Dr. Mark Waldman. And he started to introduce us to this idea that if you take your hand and you go behind your head and you come across to around your cheekbone, this is your imagination center. And then if you take your hand and you make kind of a pie shape, this is where you function. And there's your prefrontal cortex, which is your executive decision-making place. Then you have your hippocampus, which is memory banks. And it's like disks, like in a computer. It remembers things. And sometimes it doesn't remember anything new because it's habitual. And then you have the amygdala. And Amy is all about, we nicknamed her. And Amy is all about fight or flight, right? So when things start changing, we see it societally, we see it even in families when people begin to change, and we see it in our individual life. We begin to change, and all of a sudden Amy is like really active. She's wondering like, what the heck is going on here? And what happens is she feeds that loop into this hippocampus that has these memory cards, these disks, and it says, well, it looks like this. It seems like that other thing. It seems like that person I met who really bugged me, or it seems like, and we begin to react and make our executive decisions based on a lot of old patterning, right? So in chapter 2 of this thing called You, from Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind and Spirit, I'd like to read that. Is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, great. Okay. He's talking about this exact same thing about there's a presence in the universe is good and it's plentiful and it's loving and it's kind, and it's, when we give it our time and attention and we allow it to speak to us in ways that are part of that imagination network, it's a connection to God or a direct communion with the infinite, right? And so he says, and this was written in 1948, so he was pretty avant-garde, I think, for his time. And he says, why then, if these things are true, God is all and presence is all, is the world still impoverished, mentally and physically ill, apparently unable to become unified? We're really seeing that right now, aren't we? Coming together really seems to be the hardest thing, isn't it? He says, this is the greatest question we can ask. Why? 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 Unless this question is adequately answered and its meaning increasingly applied in human conduct, there is a danger that the world may destroy its vast system with misconceptions and be compelled to begin over again. And I'm going to invite us to think about that just for a moment. Isn't that what's happening right now? COVID came rolling in like a thunder, and we had to really rethink how life really was. Many of us did experience death, experience the COVID virus, what the world would be like. And he is saying those misconceptions, as they are uprooted and challenged by our thinking, we're able to then go into this idea of emergence and emerging from and welcoming something greater. So in my own personal story, in 2017, I was on top of the world. I had, a great life. I don't want to say had, because I have all of those things. It's just different. I've become different. And a lot of the structural things that I had built were protections. We're very successful in business. We're entrepreneurs. We, are able to just sort of create, using that law of creation. I'm going to have to say I'm pretty darn good at it. But what it did is it ended up, backlashing on me, because I started to be in such a routine and living by default, because to maintain all of that territory, your mind is constantly, thinking and doing the same thing each and every day without any change. And I started to really look at myself and ask myself, why? Why? And that led me to what I consider to be my spiritual bottom. I know in AA there's a term where you hit a bottom. And I've been in Science of Mind for 35 years, right? But still, I hit this like spiritual roadblock. I didn't know what to do. I fell into a depression. I was completely incapable and unable to continue life the way that I known. And one morning, Patty left for work, and I was in my usual meditation. I tried to keep that meditative thing obviously going. And I had a Christ experience. And I want to say something about that, because when I'm saying that, I'm saying a consciousness experience. I just happen to have the figure of the Christ. It could be because I grew up Catholic, everyone had, maybe you'd see the Buddha, who knows, right? But for me, I saw this figure, and it told me many different things about why. And I listened. And through that, I was introduced to what I now call the vast being. And I came back from that, shooken, unsure, and unaware of what was going to happen in my life. And it has dramatically changed the who I thought I was and the what I know I want to be. And it's a return to the self that I've always been, but I got so lost and so far from that it has been a journey home. And I think that this is my story, but that each of you and everyone here on the internet also, each of you has your unique story about the divine knocking and asking you, answer, say yes. So as you can tell, I'm up here now as a minister almost to be, so life has really, really changed dramatically. Oh. So the number 2 thing that I'd like to kind of get into is this idea of that divine spark. I hit that, what I think is that area of imagination. And I couldn't, I didn't have anything to grab onto to say, okay, this is what this means. Nothing, everything. And then boom, 2017, 18, 19, then we had COVID. And then it was like, wow, it actually prepared me for the quietness that came. It actually made me prepared to find a deeper something within me to bring to the world. And that's what I'm here to do now, without just shelving everything that happened before, all valuable. I can use it to make wonderful things in a different way. So how do we access this island of genius? What are the steps involved? There's a neuroscientist, you may have heard of him, his name is Dr. Donald Treffert. And he was actually, Dustin Hoffman asked him to consult him for Rain Man. And so he is a neuroscientist whose whole sort of thing is that typically it's a trauma or some kind of traumatic event that brings people into what's called instantaneous, either spiritual savantism or savants, and or musical savants or mathematical. There's all different types of savants. And he is trying to figure out what that hidden potential within all of us is, that these savants have some trauma that ends up making them open to the access of having that full-fledged experience of composing music or doing all of these wonderful things that just come to them like the Christ, like the Buddha. Suddenly they're enlightened. We can't question that anymore because now science is catching up to that idea. So I was listening to a PBS broadcast about a gentleman by the name of Derek Amanto, and he is one of 26 instantaneous musical savants. So the story is really fascinating. He's kind of reminded me of me in a little different way because I definitely am not a musician, especially not like Amber, right? So the interesting part is that he was living that default life, right? He knows it now, but he didn't know it while he was living it. And he was a corporate trainer. He goes off to Chicago. He's there with his family, all his childhood friends. He gets invited to a pool party. Everybody's having a whale of a good time. There's some rough housing going on around the pool. Somebody's throwing a football. People are diving in. I mean, we've probably all done it when we were, I was a tomboy, so I definitely did it a lot. So he ends up, a ball is a little bit out of his reach. So he's very competitive and he pushes himself just that much further to catch the ball. And bam, he hits himself right on the side of the pool. And he hangs onto his head. Nobody knows what's going on for him. Obviously, they bring him to the hospital. He's fortunate enough to have a concussion only, no bleeding, no brain hemorrhage. He goes home. His parents, watch him for 48 hours or whatever, and he's feeling better. He wants to say bye to his friend, so he goes to his house. He's at his house. His friend is a musician. He's got everything. The keyboards and the violins and the flutes and the drums and you name it. And he's sitting there and suddenly he's just gravitationally pulled towards the keyboard. And he goes to the keyboard, he sits down, and he starts composing like high level, high degree music. and he becomes a composer. It's the most interesting thing I've ever heard. And he was studied by Dr. Trefort for that idea. And what he came up with is that something disconnects. And so our networks start zapping around looking for a reconnection. And they can't connect here because they're different now. And so they go, consciousness is a mystery. It's still the greatest unsolved mystery, but he is pretty certain that these savants or people who are in meditative states who, practice the things that we're taught here in these rooms, and that there's some kind of plug-in that happens where you access a part of your brain that isn't your brain. And we would call that the divine mind. We would say that's godliness. And ironically, one of the statements that Dr. Trefort does say is that one of the key things that these savants have, regardless of what their savantism is that they say it was the experience of godliness. And I'm sure when you're looking at nature, isn't that the feeling? Like you're like, oh, yeah. Or when you're really engaged in your passion, oh, yeah. And it does, doesn't it feel like godliness? Yeah, it's beautiful. So the release. We've talked about default living, rethinking and repatterning. We've talked about the recruitment, and that's, bringing in these new practices, really dedicating, even if it's 5 minutes a day to meditation, really dedicating through spiritual reading, finding a mentor or somebody who can guide you along the way is so important. Because habitual thoughts patterns they're always there. They still happen, no matter. I've been in the movement for 30 years, and it still like comes up and grabs me and says, come on, let's go this way. So it's practice, practice, practice. How do we allow these new paradigms to begin to emerge individually first, then in our families, and then in the greater community? When we become our own savants and we're able to plug into some cause, the world really needs us right now. There's some place where whatever that gift or talent that you possess can absolutely help. And the world needs help. And we're the hands and feet of the Almighty. We're the mouths. We're the somebodies who can do something first and foremost for ourselves, then for others, and then for the greater world. Ernest Holmes, and I'll sort of do this and read this, and then I'd like us to go into just a short process of closing our eyes together, if that's okay. And he says this. He says, the world has reached a dramatic climax in its history. It has unlocked so much of the physical resources of the universe that unless this enormous power is used constructively, it can well destroy it. The world stands on the brink of a great abyss, a terrible regression, or if it chooses, faces the horizon of a glorious day and a new age. So let's just kind of close our eyes if you choose, just for a moment. Yeah. I'm just going to invite you to just lay down all that you might have had, maybe a problem or a worry. Just lay that down for a moment. And as you're laying that down, just breathe in. And your next breath, make it a real letting go kind of breath. Just accessing that place, that sphere where they say, ask and you shall receive. It's waiting. It's curious about you as you are curious about it. Just allow it to speak its word. Usually it's small, still something. Do this. Go here. Call that person. Just breathe that in. And I hope the takeaway for you today is this idea of an infinite indwelling presence. And I'll close us in a prayer about that. I just know in the heart, the bone of my marrow, that there is an exquisite, loving creator. It made everything, the moon and the stars and the planets, and it appends the stars in the deep, dark night sky. It's in me and it's in you. It's in us, and it is fabulously working its magic, putting together the 65 trillion cells in our body, and it assigns them what is theirs to do. So it is with you and me. We have an assignment here to open up, to be glorious, to express and expand, and to help ourselves, each other, and the world. Our place is now. And it's knowing this that I simply release this into that thing that does the work. We just have to say yes and move aside, and it is done. And so it is. Thank you.
All right, well, we're going to sing a little song here before announcements. All good, yeah? All is well. All good, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, and my soul, lets me know all is good. Holy, holy, all love, all love, all love. Holy, holy, all love, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, and my soul, lets me know all is love. Holy, holy, all one, all one, all one. Holy, holy, all one, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, and my soul, lets me know all is one. Holy, holy, all good, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, and my soul, lets me know all is good. Holy, holy, lets me know all is good. Holy, holy.
That moment you've all been waiting for. Oh, okay. The announcements. So first of all, the office is closed this coming week. So it will open up again on Monday, the 26th. The other thing for you to know in terms of vacation and closure is August 1st. There will not be a service. Not a 9:30 service, not a 10:30 service, not a service. It's an opportunity to give all the volunteers, the musicians, and everybody the day off. And so we'll come back the following week. We have a used book and art sale that's coming up July 25th. So next Sunday, a week from today, there'll be books and artwork available for you to come and select and leave a donation of whatever you choose. And we appreciate it. And then finally before the final, we have a class that is starting, and it's a Zoom class. It's starting August 3rd. It goes from 6 to 7:30, and it's a book study. It's being led by our practitioner, Francine Kitchen. And the book is Becoming Supernatural, written by Joe Dispenza. It's an awesome book. And it's a great opportunity to learn together, learn with each other, and enjoy all the rich ideas that come from that book. So the final announcements is every morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday, you can tune in to Zoom and get a prayer from one of the practitioners. This week I have the honor of doing that. Then every evening at 8:45 p.m., you can end your day with gratitude. And that is led by our practitioner, Kat, and her crew of practitioners that help us do that. So please feel free to take advantage of it. If you need the Zoom link, you'll find it on the website. Thank you. Perfect timing.
All right. Well, thank you, Kalish, and thank you so much, Zina, for the wonderful message today. All right, we're going to sing out into this day. Take me to the water and I'll dive right in. I'm ready to let go of everything that's been. I said, take me to the mountain and I'll climb on up. The highest peak beauty's gonna fill my cup. I say yes, I say yes. I know all is well. All right, let's sing yes together. Say yes, yes, I say yes. I say yes, yes, knowing all is well. I say yes, I say yes. I say yes, 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 knowing all is well. I say yes, I say yes. I know all is well. I said to throw routine right out the door. When I'm scared, I know it leads me to something more. Widen my gaze and see all there is. Take a leap of faith, I'm gonna find that bliss. I say yes, I say yes. I know all is well. Here we go, yes, I say yes, yes, I say yes. I say yes, yes, knowing all is well. I say yes, I say yes. I say yes, 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 knowing all is well. I say yes, I say yes. I know all is well. All right, let's throw that routine. I said throw routine right out the door. When I'm scared, I know it leads me to something more. Widen my gaze and see all there is. Take a leap of faith, I'm gonna find that bliss. I say yes, I say yes. I know all is well. All right, last time, let's sing yes. I say yes, yes, I say yes, yes, I say yes, yes. No, all is well. I say yes, I say yes. I say yes, 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 knowing all is well. I say yes, I say yes. I know all is well. I say yes. Well, now you all say yes. We know all is well. I say yes. Come on, we all say yes. We know all is well. Yes, all is well. Have a wonderful week, everyone.